On March 5, 2025, inside Boeing's manufacturing facility in Mesa, Arizona, British military officials quietly accepted delivery of their 50th and final AH-64E Apache attack helicopter. On paper, it looks like a standard export milestone. The airframe design is decades old, originating back in the late Cold War. But don't let the familiar silhouette fool you. Britain didn't just buy off-the-shelf helicopters from the Pentagon. They took the basic Apache airframe and rebuilt it into something radically different, a strike platform tailored specifically for high-intensity multi-domain warfare in Europe. While standard American Apaches were built primarily around U.S. Army ground support doctrine, the British Army Air Corps integrated hardware, sensor workflows, and weapons packages that create a completely different battle dynamic. We are talking about a helicopter equipped with passive radar threat geolocators that let pilots hunt without giving away their position, a digital battle network that links directly into NATO-wide fighter jets and naval warships in real time, and a dual seeker missile suite designed to slice through heavy fog, smoke, and battlefield obscuration that would blind standard optics. By the end of this video, you'll understand the exact engineering choices, tactical philosophy, and technical upgrades that transformed a 40-year-old aircraft into what British commanders call the most lethal attack helicopter flying anywhere in the world today. Here is how Britain took America's iconic gunship and turned it into something the original designers never anticipated. To understand why the new AH-64E version 6 is such a dramatic leap forward, you first have to look at what came before it. For nearly 20 years, the British Army relied on the WH-64 Mark I. Powered by Rolls-Royce engines and built under license in the UK, the Mark I was the backbone of British combat aviation. Across Iraq, Afghanistan, and maritime operations off the coast of Libya, British aircrews logged over 100,000 flight hours in some of the most brutal environments on Earth. It earned a reputation for extreme durability, but as multi-domain warfare evolved, the limitations of its legacy architecture became impossible to ignore. The Mark I was an analog giant operating in a digital world. Its sensors operated in isolated silos, its communications were tied to traditional ground networks, and its mission computers lacked the processing speed required for modern high-threat battlefields. So, in 2016, the UK Ministry of Defence made a decisive move. They signed a £1.7 billion agreement to remanufacture 50 of their existing WH-64 Mark Is into the absolute latest AH-64E Guardian standard. Boeing stripped the original aircraft down to their structural frames, integrated brand new fuselages, and replaced the internal nerve system with a fully digital open systems architecture. This transition set the stage for the helicopter's most dramatic capability upgrade. If the new digital architecture is the brain of the AH-64E, the mast-mounted longbow radar is its eyes. Mounted directly above the main rotor blades, the AN-PG-78 version 6 fire control radar fundamentally alters how attack helicopters operate. The raw detection specs are staggering. The version 6 radar can scan a massive area, detect and classify up to 256 potential targets simultaneously, display 128 of them on the cockpit screens, and automatically rank the top 16 highest priority threats in seconds. Detection range has doubled from 8 kilometers on legacy systems to 16 kilometers, quadrupling the overall scanning volume. But here is where British tactical execution creates a real lethality gap. Turning on an active fire control radar is like turning on an active flashlight in a dark room. You see the enemy, but enemy passive detectors pinpoint your exact location. British aircrews counter this by leveraging the Integrated Radio Frequency Interferometer, or RFI. Instead of blasting millimeter wave radar pulses, the RFI passively listens for enemy radar emissions. It detects the radio frequency signature of enemy air defense systems, calculates their precise coordinates, and feeds that data directly to the targeting sites.
The crew gets a target-grade firing solution while staying invisible to enemy electronic warning systems. Paired with upgraded thermal imaging, aircrews can engage before the enemy's defense systems even register an Apache in the airspace. Having world-class sensors is one thing, but keeping that information inside a single cockpit is a fatal mistake in modern warfare. That brings us to a massive strategic upgrade on the British Apache: full Link 16 data link integration. Traditionally, attack helicopters operated as tactical islands. They exchanged target locations verbally. The British AH-64E breaks that mold. By embedding Link 16 directly into the avionics, the British Apache becomes an active node in NATO's high-speed military internet. In a real combat scenario, a British Apache pilot flying low over the forest canopy doesn't just rely on their own radar. They instantly receive real-time target-grade track data gathered by an RAF Typhoon above the clouds, a naval destroyer, or an allied drone operating deep behind enemy lines. Furthermore, Britain specifically insisted on optimizing the software for maritime targeting. While standard Army helicopters struggle over open water due to sea clutter, the British AH-64E features a specialized maritime targeting mode. This allows the radar to filter out sea swells and track small surface vessels and fast attack boats. It shifts the Apache from a localized ground attack tool into a strategic force multiplier capable of defending naval task forces in Arctic fjords. Advanced networking and passive radar require the firepower to destroy the targets you find. When it comes to raw ordnance, the British AH-64E carries one of the most versatile weapons packages in rotary wing aviation. On its stub-wing pylons, the helicopter can carry up to 16 guided missiles, 70 Hydra 70mm or advanced precision kill weapon system rockets, and a belly-mounted 30mm chain gun with 1,200 rounds of high-explosive ammunition. The real game-changer in the British arsenal is the Joint Air-to-Ground Missile, or JAGM. Legacy Hellfire missiles rely on either a semi-active laser seeker, which heavy rain or smoke can block, or a millimeter-wave radar seeker. JAGM solves this by combining both into a single dual-mode seeker head. As the missile flies, it continuously cross-checks laser guidance and radar imaging. If the enemy pops a smoke grenade, the radar seeker takes over seamlessly. If the radar faces electronic jamming, the laser guidance keeps the missile locked in. To complement this, the British Army modified the nose-mounted 30mm chain gun. By upgrading the recoil dampening system, they reduced total weight while improving long-range grouping consistency. British aircrews can select exactly the tool required for the threat.
Carrying heavier radar systems and maximum weapons payloads requires massive amounts of raw engine power. To make sure the AH-64E never runs out of energy, Britain equipped its fleet with dual General Electric T700 GE701D turboshaft engines. Generating 2,000 shaft horsepower per engine, these power plants give the helicopter a top speed exceeding 300 kilometers per hour, roughly 186 miles per hour, alongside dramatically improved climb rates and payload acceleration. Why do engine specs matter so much if the American version uses similar power plants? The answer is operational geography. During counterinsurgency operations in the Middle East, helicopter engines were tuned primarily to withstand high desert temperatures and dust. But Britain's strategic focus has pivoted back to European collective defense, a theater defined by cold mountain ranges and rapid weather shifts. The T700-701D engines, combined with new composite main rotor blades, deliver exceptional performance in cold weather and high-altitude environments. This gives British Apaches the lift margin needed to fly nap-of-the-earth profiles through Nordic valleys with a full weapons load. When an enemy missile launch is detected, having instant responsive power allows the pilot to dump altitude, mask behind terrain features, and execute violent evasive maneuvers without exceeding engine limits. With all 50 aircraft delivered as of early 2025, where does the British Apache force stand today? The program achieved initial operating capability back in May 2023, and the entire fleet is rapidly charging toward full operating capability by early 2026. The operational frontline fleet is centered at Wattisham Flying Station in Suffolk, while training operations are anchored at Middle Wallop in Hampshire. British AH-64Es are already participating in major NATO cold weather exercises in the Arctic, validating manned-unmanned teaming capabilities with aerial drones and testing seamless data link integration with allied forces. By 2026, when the final airframe completes stateside software testing, Britain will field one of the most modern, highly trained, and fully networked attack helicopter forces anywhere on Earth. Britain didn't just buy an American helicopter. They took a battle-proven airframe, stripped out legacy thinking, and rebuilt it around modern European defense realities. By combining passive targeting, NATO-wide networking, and dual-mode precision weaponry, the British AH-64E Guardian stands as a textbook example of how smart engineering turns a classic platform into the ultimate battlefield hunter.